We were coming back from Krivani's office. We had a dispute about a story involving SAP, one of the IT companies from Germany, and how it handled the issue of contracts with Eskom and the Guptas. So I felt that in this case, and I was, I was in two minds even as I was arguing. But I felt that journalistically we didn't have credible sources on the story. But that's a separate matter, because when we came back, I followed her to her office where we were still talking about SAP, and then she told me that I am defending SAP because I was an apartheid spy. And I said, you must be crazy. You must take some meds. I've never been an apartheid spy. I was an activist from the age of 12. And that is a discussion that just went south. A few weeks later, Mama Mandela passed away. I was aware that Sophie was close to Mama Mandela and the family. And on the sideline, and Mahlatsi Gallants, the head of SANEF, told me after the spy allegations now were blowing hot and furious, and I was being insulted all over social media, that Sophie had taken her to see Mama Mandela, and Mama Mandela, I think prompted by Sophie, this is what I read into what Mahlatsi Gallants told me, then told her that I'm supposed to be a spy. And a journalist called Deshni recorded Mama Mandela doing this on the sidelines of the launch of a documentary. Then in a 2:15 meeting, Sophie then says that we must then prepare for a story about journalists who were Stratcom. And I'm still naively unaware that the issue is me here. Then I went to Village Walk, to a gathering about ethics. And when I opened my phone, I discovered that the whole town is talking about me being a spy. And I got a call from Sam Kokeli, the chairperson of the Media Freedom Committee of SANEF, and a colleague. And he said, Thandeka, what are we as SANEF to do about these spy allegations? What can you say? I've never been a spy. I then went home and I called the church. My father was one of the leaders of the South African Council of Churches and president of the Methodist Church. So I reached out to the Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, who was at university with me at Wits. And he was traveling, he was in Rome. I said to him, Thabo, I'm hurting in places I didn't even know exist. I just need some kind of spiritual counsel. What is this? And then he said, I'll attend to you once I return from Rome. The next call I made was to Ngqubule-Mbeki. And I said to Advocate Thandeka Gqubule-Mbeki that what they're doing to me, the EFF, is really unwarranted, and I take strong exception to it. I phoned Dali Mpofu, who was also a classmate of mine, comrade of mine. We were arrested together at Wits University. We spent our better part of our final year in solitary confinement. We arrived at John Forster together. I phoned him and I said, Dali, you're chairman of this thing. You need to do something. And I said, Dali, since when am I a spy? He said, oh man, groups, I know you're not a spy. And I couldn't understand why this thing is a runaway fire. Why is it not being doused by reason and sanity? Needless to say, it was 5 days of this. My brother, the economist Thandeka Gqubule, didn't go to work. He was so enraged and so aggrieved that he decided to go online and fight every single troll. I decided to apply to every single intelligence agency in the country to have my apartheid records declassified. Once they were declassified, I discovered that I wasn't a spy, which I knew, and that I was spied on heavily, especially in my first job as a reporter at the Weekly Mail, calls to Lusaka, to Tom Sabina, and even operations of Stratcom that we didn't know about, like Operation Aristotle, and all of those were used to spy on me and my comrades in those days before I was a journalist. So it's only through this that we were able to put it to bed. I also had a meeting with Nomavenda Mtiane, who was also unfortunately fingered. And she reminded me that on the last day of the 7 days of the testimony of Mam Mandela at the Truth Commission, Advocate Dumisa Ntsebeza put it to her that he had been given by Stratcom the list of journalists who were spies, and that the 3 names, Thandeka Gqubule, Anton Harber, and Nomavenda Matiane, were not spies, or were not on the list. So even as Mahlatsi is being invited to listen to my spying, everybody knew that there was no such in terms of what was led as evidence before the Truth Commission. The matter is still before the courts. It will be heard. It's a defamation matter. Advocate Wim Trent-Grove is said to argue this matter before the courts in October. Okay. But we see it as part of a slew of smears that were meant to devastate us and destroy us. Some days, Chief Justice, I'm just happy when I wake up alive, that I've woken up alive.